Now at 5 a.m., this is WKYT This Morning. Chicago Cubs fans are flying the W this morning. They are World Series champions. We'll be recapping the crazy finish and all the celebrations right here on WKYT.
Also ahead, we're tracking brush fires in eastern and southern Kentucky. We'll find out which counties are under a burn ban coming up.
And a Kentucky native earned some hardware on country music's biggest night. That story and your Kentucky forecast has some changes in it. All coming up on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for starting your day the Kentucky way with WKYT. I'm Andrea Walker.
I'm Bill Bryant. It's Thursday, November 3rd. We can begin to feel the weekend coming. The election is coming.
Everything's happening, isn't it?
Lots going on. And changes in weather, which we haven't had in a while. So it's going to be more normal around here for fall. Let's check in with Micah.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at some rain today, which is great news. Here's the deal. It's not going to be a lot. Not everybody will see the rain, but at least it's a rain chance. We need it so badly down toward southeastern Kentucky. And I'll tell you this, southeastern Kentucky, you guys, I would say 3/10 of an inch, maybe even 4/10 of an inch. It's not much, but it at least is something to help out with some of those forest fires going on down toward the south and southeast. 61 degrees right now in Frankfort and Lexington, holding on to the 60s outside, and we'll be roughly 70 degrees. It's not going to rise that much more today, but it's hit and miss. Remember, not everybody sees the rain. I'll show you where I expect the best chance, and when it actually moves on in, that's coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, and we begin the news with some history. The drought is over. The Chicago Cubs are waking up as World Series champions for the first time in 108 years.
Oh, and it was a great game. The game was a nail-biter going into extra innings. Our Michelle Chamberlain is at the WKYT Alert Desk with all the details. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. Game 7, two historic teams that have not won a World Series in a combined 176 years. And it was a dramatic and highly anticipated matchup that ended with the Chicago Cubs winning a World Series for the first time in over a century. Now, this game was in Cleveland, but the scene outside of Wrigley Field was crazy. Fans poured in to celebrate their team's win, and fans stayed out there for hours overnight. And they deserved to celebrate. The game took about 5 hours to play and was interrupted by a 10-minute rain delay. Imagine all those anxious fans waiting, but it all came down to extra innings. And in the top of the 10th, the Chicago Cubs came away with the win, winning this game 8-7.
It's like a heavyweight fight, man. Blow for blow, everybody playing their heart out.
That was Ben Zobrist. He was actually a former Lexington Legends player. And of course, the celebrations in Chicago began. Cubs fans had been waiting for this moment their entire lives.
This whole place erupted. It was an awesome moment.
This is tremendous. Still can't believe it.
Fans not only hit the streets of Chicago, but of course also the web. The top trending subject on Twitter, Cubs, followed by World Series. 9 of the top 20 trending topics involved last night's game. Even President Obama tweeted out congratulating the Cubs. He asked the team, "Want to come to the White House before I leave?" And look who made his way to Cleveland, Coach Calipari. The UK coach tweeted a few pictures throughout the night, including this one of Chicago celebrating its victory. He wrote, "Glad I could experience this." And what an experience it was for the game of baseball. The Chicago Cubs, down 3-1 in the series, come back and are now your World Series champions. Andrea and Bill, I'm sure there were plenty of grown men crying last night after this win. Wouldn't you say?
I'm sure there were.
No doubt about it. Gosh, the curse of the Billy Goat is over.
I know,
After all these years.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
happy
pretty amazing.
for them this
I
morning.
saw that trending on Google, the most searched was Chicago Cubs in every state but Ohio. So
Interesting.
It's interesting that the Cubs fans, they really were the nostalgic favorite.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, and well done, Michelle.
All right, the time now is 5:04. New on WKYT this morning, she wants it to stop. A Woodford County mother is calling for an end to bullying.
It comes after her son, Logan Sanders, who has epilepsy, was badly bullied at his high school. WKYT's Lauren Miner is at our live desk with the details. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Bill. Logan Sanders is a 15-year-old student at Woodford County High School. WDRB in Louisville says the teen was stuffed into a locker while other students stood by and posted the incident on social media. It happened just before the first JV game at the high school. It took school officials about 30 minutes to get Logan out of the locker. They had to cut the combination lock in order to free him. The superintendent for Woodford County Public Schools released a statement to WDRB about the bullying investigation that said, quote, "Once that has been completed, the student who committed the offense was given strong consequences for his behavior." The Louisville station spoke to the mom of the teen, Nancy Lohman, who says her son was excited to start high school, but now that has all changed. She also says while her son's story is a daily struggle, she feels she needs to help the victims that stay quiet.
Stand up and speak out. Don't give up. Keep pushing. There's kids that can't talk about it or that won't talk about it. Be their voice.
Lohman told WDRB that the student at the center of the bullying served a 4-day suspension and was sent to an alternative school for another 30 days. Reporting at the live desk, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
All right, Lauren, thank you very much. Dry conditions are fueling some brush fires in parts of eastern and southern Kentucky. Outdoor burn bans have now been issued in at least 10 Kentucky counties. You can see those counties on this map on your screen. Laurel County is one of the counties with a strict burn ban in effect this morning. Their emergency management director tells us firefighters there have been out working brush fires almost every day for the last 3 weeks. He also says it doesn't take much for a small fire to spread into something much bigger.
And people, they don't have bad intentions. They just make a bad decision that they will pick a day like today and decide to do some outdoor burning. And it can spread, get away from them. A little bit of wind can move it pretty fast.
The burn ban in Laurel County will be in effect until there's a good amount of rain. There's also a large fire in Whitley County that's been burning for a few days now. State forestry officials are keeping a close eye on it, making sure it doesn't spread.
We'll see if some of that rain possibly today makes any dent in this, but it may not be enough, it sounds like. Well, today, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton focus on the battleground states of Florida, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania.
And they're calling on their top surrogates to help them. It's all part of a final push with only 5 days left until the election. Hannah Daniels has the latest on Campaign 2016.
It was one of her biggest crowds yet. Hillary Clinton was greeted by 15,000 supporters in Arizona Wednesday night, pitching her vision to minority voters.
Imagine having a president who demeans women, mocks the disabled, insults Latinos, African Americans, Muslims, POWs.
President Obama campaigned for Clinton in battleground North Carolina yesterday, where African American voting rates have had a slow start.
I hate to put a little pressure on you, but the fate of the republic rests on your shoulders.
In Florida, Latino early voting is up 139% from the same time in 2012, driven in part by Trump's comments about Mexicans. But new polls show the race in Florida is essentially tied.
In 6 days, we are going to win the great state of Florida.
Donald Trump had his own warning for voters if Hillary Clinton wins the race.
If Hillary Clinton were to be elected, it would create an unprecedented and protracted constitutional crisis.
In an attempt to woo women, Trump's wife Melania will be back on the campaign trail today in the crucial state of Pennsylvania. It will be her first speech since being accused of plagiarizing First Lady Michelle Obama at the Republican National Convention in July. Hannah Daniels, CBS News.
Trump's campaign tells CBS News internal polling shows they could still win Virginia, a state Trump had written off weeks ago. Both the Republican nominee and his running mate Mike Pence could hold dual rallies there this week.
On country music's biggest night, a Kentucky native walks away a big winner. Chris Stapleton has added another award to add to his shelf.
The Johnson County native won Male Vocalist of the Year last night in Nashville at the 50th Annual Country Music Awards. It's his second win in that category. Stapleton called it a wonderful night.
It means so much to get to be a part of country music, and country music, these are the best people in the world.
His album Traveler is now the first album to re-enter the Billboard 200 all-genre album chart at #1. Certainly Kentucky proud of him, aren't we?
Right. Apparently he offered to give up some time for Dolly Parton, to give her more time for her speech, because they kind of rushed Dolly.
What a gentleman.
The time was, running out.
As if we couldn't love him anymore, but now we do.
There you go. WKYT this morning just getting started. 5:09 is the time on your Thursday.
Still ahead on WKYT, a new report shows that landlords are cutting rent across the country. We'll find out why coming up in about 10 minutes.
Also ahead on WKYT, if you're nervous about voting on Election Day, one TV channel plans to help calm those nerves. That story coming up after Micah's forecast.
It doesn't look like much right now across the region, but you can see some rain is going to be moving on in later on today. We're going to go over the timing and also show you how much rain you can expect coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We're looking on Defender Radar Network and see absolutely nothing going on this morning. That means as you walk out the door, it's going to be dry. And kids going off to the bus stop, I don't see any problems. But know this, when you are coming home from work, when the kids are coming home from school, more than likely you're going to have at least the shower chance around you. We're at 63 degrees right now in Lexington, 66 down south and down toward the southeast. Southeast, I know you guys are hoping and praying, crossing your fingers, doing a rain dance, everything you can to get some rain down toward you guys. It's not going to be much, but I do expect some showers and maybe even a rumble of thunder for you. Try to get rid of a lot of that brush fire across the mountain. But hour-by-hour forecast, throughout the morning hours is not a lot of rain, but you're still going to have that rain chance. I'd say afternoon is your better opportunity to actually see some rain. But remember, it's hit and miss. Not everybody will see rain today, and if you do, it's about 1/4 of an inch or less. That's it. There's really not much to this. Once we go off into the night and into tomorrow morning, we'll get rid of the rain, but we'll funnel in some much cooler air. So today's rain chance, we'll just call it unexciting, right? There's just not much to it. A lot of us really want a lot of that rain there in the yards and crops and even the brush fire down south, but you're just not going to get too much out of this. Much cooler air, though, as it funnels on in on Friday. That means Friday night football. Trust me on this. You're going to want that coat there on Friday night football, and then heading off towards your weekend, it's back toward average, low to mid-60s. We'll take it. Actually, looks like a pretty nice weekend for the UGA UK game. Follow me on Twitter, Micah Harris WX. Got this picture sent to me yesterday of the brush fire. Check this picture out. If you're not looking at the screen, turn and look at the screen. Look at your TV. This is the fire on the mountain down in south and southeastern Kentucky. This is from Brad Lambden, and that's just an incredible shot to see. And this is what they've seen for the past week or two. I can't remember how long it's been going on, but it's been going on for quite some time. We need that rain, and hopefully we'll actually get that down toward the south and southeast. 7-day forecast, like I said, it's hit and miss today. Once we hit Friday, it's much cooler, guys, but off towards your weekend looks really, really nice. 62 there on Saturday, 65 on Friday. 62 is actually our average high this time of year. However, we have been in the 80s multiple times the past few weeks, so this 62 is not going to feel like normal.
Right.
All right. It's going to feel very, very chilly at times once we go through your Saturday, but nonetheless, it's not all that bad.
Just not used to those temperatures quite yet this year, you know?
Here we go.
All right,
so do you think the rain today could put a dent in those fires?
I think it will help out. It's just not much to it.
Right.
I mean, you're talking a 1/4 of an inch or less. It's not going to help it that much, but at least it helps them out. They need
a little
help
bit.
down there.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, good pick from Brad Lambden. We appreciate him. Yeah. I remember when he was born.
Is that right?
Oh, my Bill.
Yeah.
You shouldn't say that.
Yeah, he's from Williamsburg.
How funny.
All right, good picture. All right. Our time this morning is 5:16.
And of course, Election Day is getting closer and closer. And this campaign season has been a little crazy, to say the least. But maybe it's got you a little anxious.
So on Election Day, cast your vote, and then you can turn on the TV to relax. That's what the Weather Channel at least has planned. The 24-hour Weather Network is planning to air 9 hours of soothing videos and smooth jazz next Tuesday. First time the Weather Channel will provide calming Election Day viewing as an option. Our newsroom, of course, will be busy next Tuesday. We'll be bringing you the latest election coverage, and you know you really want to know what's going on.
Those are some pretty shots, aren't they?
It'd be nice.
Beautiful.
For a minute
I didn't
or two.
realize people got nervous for this, but you say that's pretty normal.
Well, obviously the political crowd does. And,
well, yes.
And then people, you know, some who are first-time voters, it's a crowd and so forth. So we'll see. Projected turnout next week at 60% in Kentucky, which is pretty good.
That is good.
Secretary of State Grimes says she hopes it's more than that.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah. All right. And we're rolling toward 5:17 now on WKYT on your Thursday morning.
When we come back, we'll take a look at your money. Welcome back to WKYT. We are tracking breaking news right now in Lexington. Inbound North Broadway is shut down right now because of a serious crash. A car damaged a fire hydrant and a utility pole.
We have a live picture we've just established there. The crash happened about 4:30 this morning near 5th Street. This is a live look at the scene. As you can see, we're getting a look at some of the damage. At least one person in the car has been rushed to the hospital. Just moments ago, we're told the person in that car does have non-life-threatening injuries, so that is encouraging. We're also checking to see when police think they will be able to open the road. Stay with WKYT this morning. We'll update you on this developing story ongoing right now. All right, it is your Thursday. A federal investigation into one major automaker's airbags is now over.
And if you enjoy texting, new emojis are on the way. Roxana Saberi has the latest on your money.
Regulators have ended an investigation into Nissan Rogue airbags without demanding a recall. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration began the probe last year after getting complaints the airbags didn't inflate in 2013 SUVs. The agency says it reviewed the complaints and tested airbag inflators, but it didn't find any problems with safety. The Federal Reserve ended its two-day meeting on Wednesday without announcing any change in interest rates. On Wall Street yesterday, the Dow fell 77 points and the Nasdaq dropped 48. Landlords are cutting rents across the country. A new report by the real estate website Trulia found that in more than 40 cities, at least 10% of listings saw price cuts. That's even in hot spots like San Francisco, San Jose, and Denver. Trulia points out that the country's median listing rent is still rising. If you were waiting for a shrugging emoji, it's on the way. You can sign up on Apple's website to see a preview of dozens of new emojis. They include images of a woman pilot, attorney, and firefighter, and different foods, like an avocado. The emojis will be available in coming months. That's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. In New York, I'm Roxana Saberi.
Good morning, everybody. Perhaps no two words in the English language gets excitement out of fans more than hearing Game 7. The only other words that could compete with that, world champions. The Cubs and Indians trying to end championship droughts last night. The Cubs would start with a serious bang. Leadoff hitter Dexter Fowler goes yard, straightaway center, and it's 1-0 Cubbies in a hurry. The Indians get a gift in the fifth. They're down 5-1. John Lester uncorks the wild pitch. It gets away from David Ross. A run scores. Former Wildcat Jason Kipnis all the way from second. It's 5-3. The Cubs continue with the hot bats, and again, it's the big fly ball. David Ross, straightaway center. And the Northsiders lead it 6-3. We go to the bottom of the eighth. Rajay Davis, look how much he's choking up because he's facing Aroldis Chapman. You can't hit with power when you choke up, kids. It is a tie game, a two-run homer, and Chapman is shocked. He would shed tears later. After a rain delay, we go to extra innings, and in the 10th, former Lexington legend Ben Zobrist goes to the opposite field. That puts the Cubs in the lead 7-6. Zobrist gets to second, and he is stoked. Chicago tacks on another, and now with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th, this is how it ended.
This is going to be a tough play.
The Cubs are World Series champions for the first time since 1908. And somewhere Harry Carey and Ernie Banks and Ron Santo and the boys are enjoying that one. Congratulations to the Cubs. In other sports news, Kentucky getting ready to meet Georgia Saturday night. Mark Stoops has been getting great play up front from both his offensive and defensive lines. Now the defensive front, they got a big concern. They were a big concern going into the season, especially with the loss of Reggie Mint right at the start of fall camp. But coordinator DJ Elliott proud of the way players like Adrian Middleton have come in and pulled things together.
I'm very proud of their effort and where they've come, and they've gotten a lot better. They played one of their better games, if not their best game, on Saturday. And we developed some leadership at the position. The kids are playing hard and executing the techniques and the assignments. So they've come a long ways.
We stressed how important this game was and how good Mizzou offense was, how fast they go. And we just stressed on we need to get off the field. So the best thing we did was just practice, rush every day, you know, try to make first and second down plays. You know, if we stop them first and second, everything go as planned.
That is sports for this morning. Holy cow, the Cubs are World Series champions. That's sports. Have a great day.